Hi, this is PD at BurgZerg Arcade at BurgZergArcade.com, and this is tutorial 139. Now, a few weeks ago, I issued a challenge out to people to create a timer for your chest so that it would destroy when a certain time had been reached. And I didn't get that many actual responses to it, but the ones I got are working solutions. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Unity and mono-develop and show you the way that I'm going to do it. So I'm going to go to my chess class, and the way I want it to work is I'm going to have some sort of static value that affects all my chess. And this value is going to be the default value that all chess will destroy at by default. But I also want to create another variable because there's certain instances where you don't want a chess to actually be destroyed. For instance, if the player has the chest open and they're looting stuff out of it, you don't want it to just destroy and disappear on them. So we'll want to take that into account. And there might be other reasons why you want a chest to last a little bit longer than the default timer. So we're going to work with two different variables here. So I'm going to come down under my list, my public list that we're using to store the loot that's in this chest. And I'm going to create well, let's just do a public static for now. A public static float. And I'm going to call it default lifetimer. Of course, you could also just make this a constant as well. And I want my chest to last 2 minutes, but for testing purposes, I'm going to put it to 10 seconds instead of, well, 120 seconds, which would be 2 minutes. And then we'll create the private one that we're going to use to keep track of how long the item's actually been around. So private, and this will be a float as well. And I'm going to call this, well, I guess we'll just say lifetimer. And I'll start that off at 0. Now what I'm going to do is come down to the update method. And the very first line, I'm going to increase our lifetimer by whatever it took to render this frame from the last frame. So that would be time.delta time. And then we're going to want to check somewhere. So we'll probably want to have a couple checks in different spots. So first off, let's come all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to go right above force close and right underneath my close method, and I'm actually going to create the function that is called to actually destroy the chest. So this will be private. It does not return anything, so it's void, and I'm just going to say destroy chest. It does not take any parameters, and all I'm really going to do is take this line that we have up here. This is the only place that we have the chest actually being destroyed, so I'm going to move it into this function. And then I'm just going to make a function call up here where it used to be. So destroy chess. And one thing I want to do up here is actually set our list, which is loot, to equal null. Just so we're not trying to keep a reference to it. Alright, so we've got a way to destroy it, and we have the counter counting for us. So next we'll want to figure out when to check to see if we want to destroy this chest. The easiest way to probably do that would be to come back up to our update where we're increasing the timer. So right here, and just have a simple check. Now if the lifetime is greater than our default life timer and the player does not currently have the chest open, then call the destroy method. That seems like a good start, so we'll just start with that. So we'll say if lifetime or lifetimer is greater than our default lifetimer, and we'll want to check our state, which I'm going to come down. I did call it state, so we'll just say state does not equal chest state dot open. Then we'll just call the destroy chest. So I'll just save that off. I'm going to head into Unity. We'll see if we have any errors. Oh, none show up. So let's go ahead and try this. I'm going to start the game up. I'm going to run over and actually open one of the chests. And we'll see what happens. The rest should get destroyed and this one should be fine. And there we go. So now if we close this chest, it gets destroyed. We'll probably want to play around with that a bit because we don't want it to be destroyed instantly. We actually want it to close and then be destroyed. So let's stop Unity. So we'll head back into MonoDevelop. And instead of checking to see if the state does not equal open, what we're going to do is check to see if the state equals close. So this should keep our chest open even if this should keep our chest alive even if it's past its timer, as long as it's open. And we wait. So we see the other two chests are destroyed, and let's close it. And there we go. When we close it, it's destroyed. Let's also check to make sure, well, I guess once it's emptied, it automatically gets destroyed, which is the behavior we want. And the rest will get destroyed. Now, I don't quite like the destroying. It seems to cut off my sound simply because my sound file is a little bit longer than the actual animation. So I'm going to change that just a little bit. I'm going to come down to our close, and when we're actually waiting for the animation length, I'm going to pass a different value in here. So I'm going to come up and just say, oh, let's make it well, it has to be a float, and I'm just going to call it temp timer. And I'll start off at equaling, we'll make it equal to our animation close length. And I'll put the temp timer in here. And all I'm going to do is just add one quick check to see if the sound that it's playing is longer than the animation. And if so, I'm going to change the temp timer to be equal to the sound as well. So I get the full sound before it gets destroyed. So we'll just say if, and we'll want to get the length of that sound. So close sound dot, and we'll look for the length is greater than temp timer. Then we'll just say temp timer is equal to close sound dot length. Now, when our destroyed method is called here, our destroy chest, the reason why I moved it out into a separate function is you might want to add some sort of particle effect or, well, basically anything you want. Maybe there's a certain sound you want to play when the chest is destroyed, or maybe you even have an animation for it being destroyed. You can just simply add it in here. So I'm going to save that off. We'll head back into Unity and we'll check to make sure that the time that it waits to destroy the item is long enough now that we can actually hear the animation or see the animation of the chest close as well as for the sound. So we'll just close it. I'll just take everything out. And there we go. We now have a functioning timer for our chest. And just so I don't forget, I'm actually going to come up to the top here where I'm defining the variable and change it back from our default timer from 10 seconds to 120 seconds, which is 2 minutes. And you know, that might provide, or that might end up being still too short. I might want to still lengthen it, but 120 seems to be a good place to start. Anyways, that's it for this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.